just one of the dearest friends. I guess we just started. This is Mike. This is a very special OMG event. We're counting down towards OMG. Well, actually, we're counting down to the start of OMG No Holds Barred 2016 Project Assimilation, including Director's Cut 2016. And I'm here with a man who's just become an incredible leader and just one of my dearest best friends I've ever had in my life, who's Kotton Grammer. And I've entitled this hangout, this very special hangout, Kotton, Confidence, and Competence. There's a big connection there. And Kotton's a man who came inside of OMG. He was a person with a formidable background. A lot of people don't know that about him. And when I say formidable, really something special. But he was in a place where he was literally dissatisfied with the whole world he was living in, and he had turned his back on it. And he felt like the world he was in did not offer him what he wanted, did not offer him the opportunity to change the world in the way he wanted to change his stars and his life and the life of those around him. And he came inside of OMG, as a member, just like either you are right now, or perhaps you're considering doing so. And in doing so, he did change his stars, and he did not only change his life, but now he's completely turned everything on its head. He's turned everything into this big money getting circus. And I say it revolves all around Kotton's confidence and competence. In fact, I've been now watching and now reviewing a brand new series that David Mills has just prepared and dropped. It's a 2-video series that he's just prepared and dropped into the OMG NHP 2016 Project Assimilation members area. I think it's very much inspired by Kotton and Kotton's greatness on the framework for client getting, not just client getting, but really even snowballing with it. And really it's about much more than that. And anybody who's interested in actually money getting, of course, it goes deeper than that, and even into personal relationships, into JV relationships, if you're interested in affiliate marketing, into JV conversions or affiliate conversions, into product conversions if you're doing physical products like on Amazon or Shopify or what have you. So I believe this is going to be very special. Kotton, by the way, is just so wonderful. I called up Kotton just literally, I think maybe I can look on my phone, but I think it was like right around 15 minutes ago. And I gave him the idea for this. Kotton and I are often, I'm blessed where I almost feel like sometimes we're like in lockstep, and he's just a force of nature when it comes to OMG. And I just kind of want to point out in this, as I say this is actually already being attended by a surprising number of individuals. I appreciate you all for jumping on. We didn't announce this, no email broadcast went out, but I mostly created this to place on OMG blog when we're done. I guess I could have gone ahead and put it on there before I began, but it's almost kind of shocking to me how just genuinely grateful I feel for the opportunity, even just today, to have Kotton for these few moments on with us today. He's filled with a busy schedule, a man who makes over $500,000 per month, but not just that he makes that money. I mean, there's people out there making money, a lot of money. There's definitely even people out there making more money than Kotton, but in the way that he's doing it is just literally so inspirational, to where he's opened his heart. He's sharing that with so many other individuals who are out there. And I know that people who are on the line with us right now, who are watching us live, or people watching us in a replay, if you've met Kotton, if you just first met him, you're probably nodding your head saying, heck yeah. And if you're just getting to meet him, you're in for such a treat. It's such an incredible honor. It really is. And if you guys and gals knew the extent of how tirelessly and how passionately Kotton is driving towards not just turning OMG into what it can be today, but in the future, a true win-win-win. I've been the last blog post I put up on OMG blog centered around the concept of a win-win-win. The idea of a win-win, it's a pretty obvious situation. Guy meets girl, we both want to win, great. two business people meet, hey, let's both make some money, great. But what about everybody else? What about the rest of the world? Well, you could say, well, got to worry about number one, but are you really worrying about number one if you're not worrying about the win-win-win? Because you're really not going to snowball. You're really not going to snowball in, let's say, for example, a client relationship without that win-win-win, without the third win. Maybe you and your client will have a temporary alliance, but if your client's members do not benefit from it, then it is not going to pick up steam. If you are, if you're not creating what I would call an emergent property from the relationship. In Kotton's case, we're going to get to how he does this, and I think that this is going to be inspirational. We may get into some of Kotton's background. I have certainly some thoughts. I put some thought into this event, and I'm real excited to have you here, Kotton. I know it's not always, you're a little bit like Greg Morrison, where it's not always the easiest thing in the world to hear somebody speak out candidly about you, because you are such an awesome force, and yet you're a very humble person and a very gracious person. So I want to thank you for jumping on with me today.
Sure, Mike. It means a lot. I try not to focus on what I've done in the past, but what I can do ahead of us. And, we have so much stuff going on in OMG and so many people to help it, that we don't get a lot of times to just take and see the impact that we've created for others. And, our light days are spent, what's tomorrow going to bring? Who else can we help? How many more people can we, help change their lives and start a business and quit a job that they hate, or find happiness, or spend more time with their family? And that's what drives us. So sometimes it's difficult to take the accolades and like all of that, because we're so busy and we're like, well, that was yesterday. What can I do today? And that's the attitude I've always had.
Well, I feel like, Kotton, I feel like you like we could almost wrap it up here, because I feel like now, of course, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek when I say that, because I believe that a major lesson has just been taught, and I want to peel back the layers of the onion there from what Kotton just said, because Kotton is always looking forward. He is relentless. He is ruthless in the pursuit of this snowballing concept. But I believe that if I were to ask for a show of hands here amongst people who are watching, we actually have several dozen people joining us, which is crazy. This is a completely impromptu webinar, no email broadcast, no notification of this. Again, I created this for OMG blog to where we could place this on OMG blog and have people be able to have this rooted experience, a personal experience with Kotton. You may have been able to attend a webinar with Kotton recently where he was the ringleader and introducing you to other people. But what about Kotton, and what about what he's been able to accomplish? I'm sure so many people out there, if they could even just achieve a fraction of Kotton's success, and I want to give a sense. I'm going to pull up a calculator on my phone here. I want to give a sense of what it is to make over $500,000. I believe the number's around $550,000 a month. To what that means in terms of dollar value and what we're getting already on this event. You've been on here just for a couple minutes, but $550,000 a month, if you divide that by, say, 30 days, that's about how many days in a month? That's $18,333 a day. Now, $18,000 a month is right around what a doctor makes. Okay, I really want to just stop and get that, right? Just to stop for a moment. If Kotton's making right around $18,000 per day in his non-OMG business, in this case, what Kotton's doing is client getting and snowballing from there. There's other ways that OMGers are making money, perhaps in their own business as affiliate marketers, or doing physical products like on Amazon or Shopify with their own digital products, and that's all wonderful. But I want to zoom in on Kotton today, because there's so much to be gained from learning from Kotton. Even if you're not on a track just yet to do client consulting, or even if you're taking a different path, there's so much to be gained from him. And boy, $18,000 per day. And again, let's underscore that. A doctor, someone who is a doctor, has gone to school. They've gone through the hurdles. Maybe they got a little bit lucky here and there. They got past some gatekeepers. They spent on average 14 years in school, racked up around a $300,000 debt, all to work around a 60-hour work week. They're going to work real hard to do that, often stressful, and highly regulated and this and that. But regardless, to make what Kotton makes they'll make in a month, in 30 days, right around what Kotton makes in one day. But it wasn't always that way. It absolutely was not always that way for Kotton. And I want to get rooted with this, because I would say that if I were to do an impromptu poll amongst our audience here, either live or if you're watching this on Facebook or on our blog, if you're watching this right now, you might have the sense that Kotton is a confident man. He is a confident man, and he is just true. He is confident. I will tell you this. Kotton feels like he can, in my experience, like he could just walk straight through a brick wall, and maybe he can, But the thing is, what's fascinating to me, I was reflecting on this morning, Kotton, that when you joined us, and this is kind of pursuing that, this kind of goes back to David Mills' new client getting video, which again I believe was very, very strongly inspired and informed by you, to where Dave was kind of creating the framework, and of course you're fleshing out the details and giving that 40,000 volts of electricity, and of course we have our other wonderful player coaches who are focused on this, like Fletch and like Joe and Steven and even Greg Morrison to some extent, even Liz to some extent, but certainly you're the shining beacon, that lighthouse that's blazing in the night. Kotton, when you joined us, you weren't brimming with confidence, and even when I got your first earnings report, it was exceptional. It was just fantastic. I mean, at the time of your first earnings report, you'd hit your first 5-figure month. You were right at $14,000. I'll never forget that email when I got it from you, and it got etched into my mind. And I saw you on a webinar a few weeks later, and I brought you live, and you already had skyrocketed your income from there. But anyways, regardless from that, the day when you joined us, which is also etched into my mind, etched into my heart, January 15th, 2014, you were not in a confident place. In fairness, you had a formidable background. You'd had success in your life in a number of venues. You had built let's call it a formidable resume. But that said, you were not in a confident place. And I believe that's a little part of your success, a little bit of accuracy to that. I'm going to try to peel back the layers, but to take us back to that day when you joined us, I would say that your confidence wasn't sky high at the time.
No, it wasn't. I was scared. I always believed in, go back to really forced me to write out. We did a webinar a couple weeks ago with 8 habits to being a 6-figure earner. It's basically a memoir of what I felt like got me to this point. One of them was I've always believed in the impossible, but confidence doesn't always come with the belief. You can believe that you can do something, but sometimes you have dark days to where you just don't know if you have the confidence that it's going to take to pull you through. So when I first got into OMG, I was scared like anyone else. It was an expensive program. I was limited on money. Any payment over $500 is a tremendous amount of money. It's someone's car payment. It's what some people pay for rent if they have a roommate. It's a lot of stuff, especially when you're really trying to pull yourself up from the bootstraps. I had been a long time without work. I'd had people basically telling me, go work at a car dealer, until you get your stuff going. And then when you bring to someone that you want to pursue online marketing as a career, people just kind of chuckle and shake their heads. So no, I definitely did not have any confidence the way I should have when I first came in, and just trusted in the information. And, a lot of pitfalls. A lot of people seem to think that, your success, that just all of a sudden that you woke up and you had success, Mike. But, if we go back and look at your success, it's a decade long. It's a 20-year, successful relationship with David Mills, where you guys have crushed it wherever you've went. 2 decades worth of work. I've been building my skills up for about 2 decades also, from training and sales and, and being in a corporate consultant before, and pooling on all the resources that I've learned, all the books that I've read from all the mentors that I've never got a chance to meet, filling my brain up with all positive things. And OMG was just that thing that took the match to the gasoline and just blew it up. It was information that you can't get anywhere else. You can get motivational books. You can get all the confidence in the world from your friends and your family. But this information that's inside of OMG and still today, I was just talking with Stephen Floyd and Gregory Ortiz and Joe Marfolio. I've talked to them all today. I've learned something. I mean, I consistently learn every day a new piece of information to where they'll say something. I'll go, wait a minute, let me check this out. We'll all get back and forth together and just spontaneously go, wow. And that's what OMG is. It's just everyone coming together, information that I could never get anywhere else. And I knew that the moment I got in there. And then the camaraderie and the community, the Facebook group, everything that it teaches is literally, I've tried on purpose, not because I wasn't happy, but just to see, even over the last 6 months, if there's another course out there that can even match it with success, even look for one. There isn't. And it led me to believe, man, I got so lucky and feel so blessed to be in the right home, in the right place with the right people. That's what's gave me the confidence today, is knowing that the information that I've got has helped thousands of people change their lives. But not only that, but I'm surrounded with some of the most bright, successful people in this world that have lifted me up. And now I know that I'm virtually unstoppable at whatever I want to do. And that's a great, great, great compliment to what you, Mike, and what Mike and David and what Greg has done for us, building this community. And I'm just happy to be a part of it.
I want to take you even back to years before OMG. One of the founding steps of OMG. Now, David Mills really has a formidable background when it comes to getting clients and being real successful with them, and even snowballing. I want to give people a sense of what it was that inspired this video. There was a certain portion of part one of David Mills' two-part client getting framework. Again, I think was very much inspired by Kotton, and it took me aback a bit. And David challenged me in that video. I feel like he's talking to me, just like feel like he's talking to everybody. He challenged me to really take a look at the issue of confidence and competence. And there really is a reality out there. People feel like, well, you should be more competent and or confident. Some people, there's an idea out there, Kotton, I think you've heard it, fake it till you make it. I think we've heard that concept before.
Sure.
And it's interesting. I remember when I was a little kid, the first time I went out to seek employment or to make some money, I got a job. I was just thinking about this today. I got a job mowing my neighbor's lawn, and I got the job. I got it right away. But I lost the job, Kotton, because I did a lousy job. I went out there and I just, I wanted to play with my toys and this and that. Of course, as a child, this is kind of understandable. But what's interesting is I remembered, and it burned in my head, like when I got fired from that job, and it really smarted. I was like, oh my gosh, I got fired. And I'll tell you this, I kind of started walking through my head, and I was like, well, what if I had just done that job right? Maybe I had gotten a recommendation from that guy. Maybe the neighbors would have seen me, mowing that guy's lawn every week or whatever. And maybe one of them would have said, hey, you want to mow my lawn? Or, who knows, maybe I'd build a whole business around that. And I don't mean to trivialize this. I mean this very seriously, because really this is something that I would say that overconfidence can really, it can put such a brakes on your business. It can create such an issue, such a problem. And one of the things that David talked about in this video, and to me, you just exemplify this, and it's so effing inspiring. Pardon my French. It's so inspiring, Kotton. And you've been a blazing torch. I tell people, OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. And I was lying in bed this morning. I was thinking about it, just how brightly that torch could shine, how it could just blaze across the skies in a way where everyone around the world could see it. And that was a first time thing for me, Kotton. I want to share that with you. And of course, with our audience here, I appreciate you all. I got to thinking about that. And I know, like, right now I'm being like a little bit theoretical and so forth, but this is going to be cool. Again, we're peeling back the layers. I want to boil this down, because I will tell you something about Kotton. First of all, when David and I were doing some client consulting in the internet marketing market space, many of the launches and many of the gurus that you may have heard about, a lot of them are has-beens at this point because they may not have had the integrity to kind of keep things up, and some of them you still may have heard of, and they may have done a good job here and there. Who knows? But at some point, we weren't satisfied with the level of people that we were working with. We didn't feel like we were really working with the right kind of people, that they had the competence, Kotton, to match their competence. In many cases, there were broken agreements. And what I mean by a broken agreement, and this ain't to dredge up any bad news or to cast any aspersions. I don't really care about that stuff. This is a new day. It's a very special day. And we're all looking forward, just like Kotton said. But we can learn from the past. And, there are many promises. And there's a concept that David Mills focuses on, the concept of personal property. And I will tell you this, anybody who's inside of OMG or anybody who's thinking about joining OMG, one of the inspiring things is that David Mills is a strict code that we understand what our offer is. We're very careful in understanding what our offer is, and that we match our offer to reality, that when somebody comes inside of OMG, they can clearly recognize the elements of our offer and see to it that that is matched and that continues along, and we've been around the block and so on. And David, all those days back, I think it was right around 2006. Those of you who are internet marketing history buffs will probably know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't matter. It's not important if somebody doesn't know about this stuff. But David said, Mike, we must attract a higher quality of person. And he was talking about people who didn't just have confidence, but who had competence to match that confidence. And really, in my opinion, it was not until we encountered Greg Morrison, who you mentioned earlier, that crystallization point was there, with us committing to working with Greg, with us matching our actions to the promises that we made to Greg, to the agreement that we made to Greg, and that's what created the crystallization point around which OMG has snowballed, that kernel that snowballed and snowballed. Now, that said, you may hear that Kotton has a formidable background, and some may feel daunted by that. I think you should feel inspired by it, and I will tell you why. Because part of the design, part of the fabric of OMG is that it was our intent to attract people who have a sense, a desire for integrity in their life, to where that confidence and competence match. And it could be somebody who's just getting their start, or it could be somebody with a formidable background like Kotton had. And no matter how formidable Kotton's background was, Kotton, in a sense, I feel as if your confidence and your, not super high level confidence. I'll give two scenarios. Kotton, if you had rolled in OMG with a sense of entitlement, like, well, I've done this, I've had this success, I've had that success, and felt like the world should just roll out the red carpet to you and greet you with kisses and be throwing roses at you and throwing parades, as I feel like they should be for you right now. That's the introduction today. If you had come in with that level of confidence, and yet you had not matched that with understanding how OMG works, with not matched that with understanding how law of implication works, and then had not matched that with understanding search engine optimization, because people on this webinar, I want you to know that Kotton is an absolute, at this point, world master at search engine optimization. But when you joined us, your level of confidence, perhaps it was reflecting that you were new to SEO, that it was new to you, that the idea of harnessing the search engines to direct traffic where you wanted to, that was new to you, Kotton.
Very much so. I believed, but I also knew that from my background in corporate consulting, that you always have to come in and know how everyone feels before you can make changes. You have to go through the training. So many times what I would do is my process would be, I would go in and start as a new employee without anyone knowing and find out what it felt like to work there, what it felt like and how I got treated before I went in and made catastrophic changes to the company, their whole sales department, let people go, let people's jobs go, ruin people's careers, just based on being arrogant and having too much confidence, as you can say. My whole thing is when I came into OMG is I was very, very, very hopeful, and I believed in the impossible. But I also knew that I had a lot of hard work to do. What I did was, instead of asking members where certain videos were, I looked for them myself and many times wasted hours. But in turn, I became a master of knowing where everything was. I didn't know how to put up a website. Didn't even know that a website needed hosting. I just thought that you went to some place and clicked on a couple buttons and a website come up. I was shocked to know that there was hosting. So I had to learn that. I had to learn everything. And, and through the difficult times, it's made me have a very strong foundation of what everything is, because I've messed it up and then I've done it right. And I think that that's what's grounded me with a lot of stuff, because I know what it feels like to come in new, and I know what it feels like to be frustrated. And, but I also know what it feels like to break through some barriers. And when you do things like that, but one of the attitudes that if you're new to OMG and if you want to come into OMG, the information's there. There's more information today than when I came in. I had two amazing coaches, which was Greg and Fletch, but there was no Joe Marfolio. There was no Stephen Floyd. There was no Liz Herrera. There wasn't me around. There wasn't any of that stuff to where it was around. We had live webinars once a week, and we had the information that's in there. There was no director's cut theme. There was no anything. We had to figure out what the best way was and all this other sort of stuff. So ultimately, when you get in, create a solid foundation for yourself. Know that it's going to be difficult. Know that there's going to be nights to where you're going to feel so frustrated you want to quit. There's several nights that I literally wanted to cry myself to sleep. That no one believed in me. That no one believed that I was going to make money. 90 days went by. 90 days went by. Nothing. Till about the 100th day is when I got my first $1,000 a month client. A great example of what just posted in OMG yesterday is Shannon McGraw. She's been chipping away hard. You don't know, and I love her for this, but she consistently messages me every day asking for a question, but it isn't an entitlement question. It's I'm stuck, where do I go question. So in other words, she got halfway through the journey of figuring it out, messed up a few times. Then she messages me and said, I've done this, this, and this. What do I do? Man, I'm going to be there and help you every time. And through that, she finally struck gold after months and months and months of not getting a client. And now, kaboom, struck gold. So, I just posted something on my wall the other day. Everything great comes in time. It takes 6 months to build Rolls Royce, but it takes 12 hours to build a Toyota. Yeah. OMG's all about building the Rolls Royce. And when you get it done right, when you look at what you've built with all the information, because it takes time. You're not going to be a world master at SEO overnight. You're not going to rank for cheap car insurance or buy Paxil or just all these great keywords that you think's making all this money overnight. But the information that's in OMG is so powerful that if you trust it and you believe in it, it's going to take you as far as it's taken me, because you got people like Greg Morrison, who's up late at night crunching these numbers. You got Joe Marfolio, who's up till 2 a.m. calling me. Stephen Floyd, who's accepting members into new groups. Gregory Ortiz up. Liz Herrera banging out, at least I think that she's trying to tackle 120 hours worth of training videos. Things like this is what get people to the next level. So it all comes down to doing things that no one else want to do. And if you're able to do that, get inside the information and put in the work, you are so close to just crushing what anyone that went to medical school done, what anyone spent 7 years of their life to get to an income that we can fly past in a few months. And that's the most exciting part about it. So with that, there were many difficult times. There were a lot of times I wanted to quit. But, it's only lasted for a few hours, because I knew that I've seen all the success around me. When you see there's smoke, there's fire. And, Stephen Floyd just put up an amazing post today, asking people for income reports, and it's flooding in right now with everyone. People that I've never even seen post before are posting their successes, and it's inspiring. And it's all with the information that's inside of OMG. And that's what drives me to find new information for these guys every day and to keep pushing forward, is seeing that sort of success. And I know that it excites you as well, Mike.
Really, Kotton, it really does. And it actually literally blows me away, because, you even mentioned, just a few minutes ago, Liz Herrera. And I'm not going to go off on a huge tangent on this, but, David Mills has positioned us in a place where our mastermind community here is built up so powerful to where it's so attractive that even people who a year ago hadn't even heard of OMG or like where they weren't even interested or whatever, now in many ways the eyes of the world are on us, even though we're still a small to medium sized mastermind community, and somehow the timing just seems to all fall into our lap. Several days ago, we're now marching on Christmas, which means that several days ago was Black Friday, and I believe that one of the seminal events of internet marketing history has just occurred, and that is that. And Bloomberg actually published an article on this just a few days ago. Clicks beat bricks. Okay, clicks beat bricks. What happened is in the U.S., retailers actually literally made much less money in brick and mortar stores than internet retailers made. They made literally much more money, and it's only the savvy type brick and mortar stores that have contacted a Kotton Grammar, that have contacted a Stephen Floyd or a Joe Marfolio or a Fletch or one of our wonderful members like Kurt Anget or just so many, too many to name, Gregory or Shannon or Cliff or what have you. They're gaining the edge. The people who are hanging with OMG, they're the ones that are gaining the edge. My point in saying that is all of a sudden here we are in the right position to not just have that incredible experience when it comes to doing SEO client consulting, not just having that incredible background when it comes to having so many people having unbelievable affiliate success or unbelievable success with digital products and digital marketing, all powered by this incredible OMG engine. But now we even have this incredible success with e-commerce on Amazon and even some other places like Shopify, but especially Amazon. And it's just it's an extraordinary thing that's in play right now. But I want to bring this back, and I want to back this up to a core message that I have here. Because my inclination is that people think, Kotton, that what you're doing, the success that you're having, boils down to some psychological, almost brinkmanship, where you're willing to what was the movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, where the legendary sales guy Jordan Balfour, could sell ice cream to an Eskimo or whatever the case is. But that's not what you do, Kotton. That has nothing to do with what you do. What you do is backed by pure 100% raw OMG SEO power, to where when you walk into a potential client meeting, and really when they're actually almost bidding for your business at this point, and this is what you want. This isn't all about you sitting around being like, oh, look at me, look how great I am. This is about you wanting to have this for OMGers. You're the one selling gold at a discount, Kotton.
Yeah, definitely. Search engine optimization is just one of the most powerful things that, just the information inside of OMG that Greg Morrison provides and the foundations of it is literally just mind-bending. When I first came in, I was able to land on pretty much page one for, like inside of 6 weeks, which is unheard of. Google kind of treats new websites like if you'd go to a trainer, and if you're 50 pounds overweight, you don't go up to the personal trainer and say, hey, I got to lose 50 pounds for my wedding, in 10 days. It doesn't work like that. Or you don't go to a trainer and say, hey, not only do I need to lose 50 pounds, but I've got to run a marathon in a month. It doesn't work like that. So Google treats websites a lot like that. Greg Morrison has it dialed in. And all I had to do was just simply follow exactly what's going on with what Greg was doing, match it over the shoulder perfectly. And now I controlled free traffic. I brought traffic into my website, which then had people calling me, asking me for my services, which still blows me away to this day. I don't have to do anything. My phone rings, with the clients that I have, I apply the same principle that I got my site that way. Their phones ring, they're happy, they're visible. They went from being invisible businesses online to where you got a cell phone in your pocket. They were invisible. where now you take that cell phone out of your pocket, you type in the keyword, they're visible. So that changes everything for a business, to where they can be accessible in everyone's hands at any moment when someone's thinking about buying their products or services. And that's what OMG is able to do for not only affiliate products, selling other people's things, but man, now we've got into physical products, to where if you've got physical products and you need to get them moved, we have the recipe for that now to just kill it. And there's just so many directions to go. I just chose one, but we've got people killing it in all these different ways. You got Alex Gold, who's killing it with affiliate, just rocking it out consistently over $50,000, $60,000 a month. You got Fletch and Joe Marfolio doing lead gen sites that are bringing in $40,000, $50,000 a month. You've got Greg Morrison, who I know his sites and he hasn't shown them yet, but he will lose his site and put one right back up and making $50,000 a month off affiliate right now. And that's like what he's doing. And these people have these recipes to this that you can't get anywhere else, and it just blows my mind. Then we go in with client SEO. I've spent so much time developing that flawless recipe for that. We go over that. And then we bring in other members that just generously want to help out. Stephen Floyd's got maps, Google Maps down, Google My Business, to where when you pick up your cell phone, type in windshield repair, the maps are going to come up first. Stephen Floyd knows how to work that like it is opening and shutting the door. You got people like Derek Owasiak and Mike Pierce, who are just great OMGers that come in and help. They're crushing it with just every forms of SEO. So when people understand that free traffic controls the money on the internet, no matter what you've got, if you can put free traffic at it, that's what gets the money, people's eyes. You can have the greatest store in the world, but if it's sitting out in the desert, it does no one any good. It doesn't matter. But if you can run a whole line of cars past that store in the middle of a desert, now you can sell your products, you can sell your services, you can sell other people's products, you can sell physical products, digital products, ebooks, you can sell whatever you want. And that's how the internet works. And OMG is literally that fuel that drives everything. So, you can have your engine, but without this fuel, your car is going to stay stuck on the street and it's not going to go anywhere. And that's what excites me about OMG.
I think that this is so action-packed, and I think that people are starting to get a sense of why I was so excited about this impromptu experience. One of the things I've been pounding at, in my emails and my focus has been hashtag get used to it. Get used to it. Why do I say this? Why would I say this? Everyone else, knock on wood, knock on wood. Pfft, screw that stuff. And I'll tell you why, because we got David Mills. And the thing is, David Mills is a strategic genius. This architect who's created this OMG situation, to where David has recruited me and has recruited Greg Morrison and built that kernel that we began to snowball around, to where David recruited Kotton. I will tell you this, David asked Kotton to become a player coach for OMG when he was making less than just a small fraction of what he's making today, like a tiny fraction, like less than a tenth of what he's making today. And what did that feel like to you? I mean, when David said, hey, I want you to come on board. I want to break off a big chunk of OMG to incentivize you to become a player coach, to become a leader inside of our community, to help reshape and transform OMG, and to help it realize this blazing potential, to have it be this shining beacon, to be an even greater city on hill. How did that feel to you, Kotton?
You know what, Mike? It was my fuel. That's what it is with a lot of people. Someone believed in me. Someone seen my potential that I always believed that I had inside me, that my family did, that my friends did. And you and David seen that in me. And for that, I can't ever repay that. And I was going to make sure that the only way I could pay you guys back is to just grind it out like I have been. And what transformed me and what was my fuel to keep going is what it does for so many others inside of OMG. It's the fuel. When you see that post that Stephen Floyd's got up today, with all these people that are having success, people are looking at it, and when they might not have had any hope, or someone might not have believed in them, or they got that first client. When you feel that you're in a community to where someone believes in what you're doing, and you see so many people moving forward in the same direction, it's just fuel for your soul. You just want to go harder and harder and harder. But when David Mills believed in me, I was making literally about $40,000 a month. And it literally changed me, because I was like, you believe in me, I'm going to pay you back for believing in me. And that's what I wanted to do, is just make sure that I never had you or David regret ever making the choice to bring me on as a coach. And that's how I've always felt. And I feel that I want to prove that every day. Just because now that I've had a few successful moments behind me, I still feel that when I wake up every day, what else can I do to prove that I'm in the right place, that I deserve to be here? And that's what drives me. And, seeing income reports from people that we've helped, and just all the success that's going on, it's fuel. It's just that fuel that keeps us going. So, Mike, thank you for all that you've done. And, I don't know if David will watch this, and thank him and just everyone around, because that's literally the fuel that drives all of us. So it was literally a life-changing moment for me when, like, you and David decided to bring me on.
One of the things that shocked me to my senses with you, Kotton, and thank goodness it did. And I remember I was on a webinar with you, not too unlike this, but it was a webinar, and you were talking about your first say 90 days inside of OMG, and the moves that you're making, the things that you're doing, the things that you're trying, and again to bring back this hashtag get used to it thing. One of the things that you said, was that you really mapped out OMG. You got inside and you knew the nooks and crannies. You watched this video, you watched that video, figured out not so much did it apply to you, but how did it apply to you? But one of the biggest things that stood out for me, the first time I ever heard anybody say it, was how many times you had gone through David's law of implication training, and how you even saw the whole fabric of OMG and the way that David had laid it out. And you even reverse engineered it into your own business, into the way that you had snowballed. And one of the top pieces of advice that I would have for somebody coming inside of OMG is to do what Kotton did and really commit to trusting David Mills and to trusting what he's doing. It's great news, Kotton. I would say it's great news to somebody. It's welcome news that OMG is counterintuitive. It is great news that we are not built like other programs, that we are that we have a different sense of commitment, that maybe we do things a little bit counterintuitively. But you know what? If everyone else's intuition was so effing great, then where is their snowballing success? Then where is, and I'm not saying that we're the only program out there that has success we have. I haven't encountered any other program. And I would want to join any program that had the kind of success. I would want to promote any kind of program that has had the kind of success that we've had. I was privileged to be a part of watching a webinar that you did just the other day with Anik, where Anik came out just so strongly, and he was just cheering and rallying and almost yelling at people. That OMG was, I don't remember the exact, I'll just paraphrase, but his top all-time recommendation, or amongst his top, I don't remember the exact words, but where he was so passionate about it. And these things kind of helped shock me to my senses. If people could just get inside of OMG and do what I've been able to do what Greg Morrison's been able to do, what you've been able to do, and our other player coaches have been able to do, what does it take? What is the skill, this hashtag get used to it skill? Because when we say get used to it, we're saying, like, look, it's not about to end. We're not about to go off the end of the cliff. People worry about saturation. And I'm like, clicks beat bricks, okay? And retailers are out there scrambling, begging for mercy. Please, people with that skill set that OMGers have, please come to us. Well, did we just get lucky to be in this position, or did David Mills plot this course for us like a master navigator? What is that skill of being able to not just slavishly follow David, but to buy in, because you haven't given up your individuality. You've expanded and grown. You're so strong. Your confidence is born of this epic competence, and you're a blazing a blazing, like that lighthouse. Stephen in his post has got a lighthouse there. Joe Marfolio has talked about a lighthouse. I talk about a city on a hill. Mm-hmm. What is that skill set to buy into the OMG way and still to be yourself and to put your heart into it to where you become a part of it and you blaze a trail? What is that skill?
The skill is simple. The information's there. It's the same information that's always been there, except it's expanded since I've joined 2 years ago. It's even gotten 3 times as good. But the one thing that people miss out on is that you can give everyone a map to $5 million and tell them that this is it. You can give it to 10 people, and 2 people are probably not going to go because they say it's too hard. When I first joined, I could have said, Greg Morrison, I can never make as much money as him. Alexander Becker, that's who introduced me to OMG. I could never be as successful as him. I can never get there. So two like people are just going to drop off and give up and say they're just not even going to try, that they'll probably get beat out by the other 8 that is going for the treasure. You're going to have a couple more people that are probably going to look at it. They'll probably go buy some gear to get ready to go do it. Then they'll just never do it. Life will kick in, something will happen. Then you might have, at the very end of it, one person that just decides, you know what, I'm going to go take it. And he gets there. No one's ever even been there before. And he takes the money. It's all about mindset. And that's where law of implication comes in from David Mills. David Mills gets your mind wired right. It doesn't matter sometimes if you have the right information. It matters if you've got your mind right with the right information. And what law of implication does, and it's inside of OMG, is it gets your mind right with the information. Because if you're not motivated to take on this incredible, vast amount of knowledge that OMG has, if you don't take action towards it, it's not going to do it itself. So you have to find a way to push through these barriers, to train your mind to do things that law of implication teaches you how to do. And it's literally one of the more powerful things outside of the internet marketing information that we've got. If you don't get your mind right, and if you haven't went and listened to law of implication, do so. It could be that last little piece of ingredient that you need to just blow your whole business up, to literally rank a web page. It might be the mindset that's stopping you, because I can promise you this, it's not the information. Because I've taken that information and I've ran with it beautifully. So is so many other OMGers. So that's what it takes, getting your mind right. And I encourage you, if you've got access to OMG and you're in OMG right now, get to law of implication. If you're not inside of OMG, the information here has transformed thousands. But not only that, once you get inside, it could also transform your life by readjusting your mind to get it synced with the information. And when that happens, you literally have something that is like a nuclear power reactor. It's constant power, constant confidence, constant competence, as you just said.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'm going to let those be. The last words, because there's no beating that. Kotton, thank you so much for your invaluable time. We've spent probably I don't know how long it's been. If it's been an hour, then we would divide 18,000 by 24. Wait, let's see. $18,000 a day divided by what? How many hours in a day? 24 hours. Then $750. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like $1,000. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. The money's flying all over the place, guys. It's flying all over the place. We want you to come inside and get in on it. Such an invaluable experience being here today with you, Kotton. Again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the incredible transformation you've had yourself, to where you have allowed yourself to be witnessed, to where you've allowed others to witness you, and to where you've also allowed others to contribute to you. Kotton is now part of that incredible OMG SEO think tank, to where he's sharing and you're just creating incredible difference in people's lives. I want to thank everybody who's watched this event. I took off my glasses so I don't even have a sense. Oh my goodness, we have dozens and dozens of people viewing us live right now, even though this is a completely unannounced event. So I want to thank everyone for joining us, and we will see you on the inside of OMG NHB 2016 Project Assimilation Director's Cut.